What's up, guys? It's Michael here. In this video, we're going to cover why Tesla is such a successful automaker. So, a lot of people believe that Tesla is successful because they're the first one to release a mainstream line, an EV product. Yes, that is true, but there is also another thing. So, as time goes by, as you can tell, people say that other manufacturers will catch up Tesla. So, let's assume this. If Tesla doesn't really innovate, or basically what they're currently doing now is horrible customer service, poor quality control, really uncreative and, designer cars to the point where you're charging prices where you pay for BMW, Mercedes. Let's assume that BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Ford, other manufacturers decide to play in their price range also by making better style cars, longer range, faster than Tesla. Let's assume all those things happen. But why is Tesla still the dominant automaker? So even they're the new kid on the block. So one major component that Tesla has that almost no one ever mentions and no one really ever thinks about is how easy it is to purchase a vehicle without getting hassled by a middleman. Meaning is, instead of walking to a dealer, having someone trying to lowball you or technically in a way scam you for money because they're middlemen, they need to make money, you don't have to deal with that with Tesla. So for instance, you look at Ford. When Ford tried to sell the F-150 Lightning, they tried to sell other vehicles such as like the Raptor, the new V8 Raptor that was coming out. And a lot of people want to get it for the suggested price, the retail value of MSRP or somewhere close to it. And next thing you know, when they come out the door, they're paying 15, 20, even 50, and sometimes even double the price of what the suggested retail price. And the reason why is, before we get into that, we gotta look at what Tesla dominates over everyone else. Assuming that BMW and Mercedes make a better car faster than the Model 3, faster than the Model S Plaid, better than every way, shape, or form than Tesla. But at the end, I believe Tesla will still be the dominant factor. The reason why is the initial first response to a customer. So if you ever look into marketing or people who basically do sales, first impression is really important, such as in real estate. Anything such as a service job. Mainly a service job, your job is to provide customer service. Your first initial response. The first thing you do when a person looks at you, the first thing you want to give a positive impression. Like, yeah, a lot of people say you shouldn't judge cover by the book, but let's be honest, a lot of people do judge covers by their books because that's what makes them first look at whatever topic or look at whatever product you're trying to buy. Such as for YouTube. In this video, a lot of people make thumbnails in YouTube because the first thing you do is try to attract their attention. So in the case of automakers and manufacturers for automakers, the initial response is what is their first impression. So the first impression, when you go to get a Tesla, what's the first thing you do? You don't need to get in your car. You don't need to go to a dealer. You don't have to go through all that middleman BS. First thing you do, you just go online. You can search a vehicle. Whatever price you mark up, all the options you select on their website is exactly what you pay for. But if you go to, let's say you want to order a Ford. Let's say you want to get the F-150 Lightning. And next thing you know, you can't just order from the website. You have to get a quote from a dealer. So you get the quote, you go to the dealer, you ask them to order it for you. Next thing you know, you have all these services, charges, and fees. And basically, they're trying to upsell you another product. What value does the middleman give? Okay, let's give the benefit of the doubt that, let's say, Ford gives you like the benefit of the doubt as a salesperson, a middleman, try to provide service and value to repair, let's say, repair your vehicle, okay? For some reason, you can't repair it from a third-party dealer like Tesla, for example. And you say, oh, you can go to the dealer to have us repair your vehicle, okay? How you negate that? You have a third-party service to repair it, which Tesla doesn't have, sadly. But let's say Ford, you could do that. A lot of manufacturers or other smaller body shops will be able to do it because there's not a hardware lock or software locked because they provide it. And the number two situation is they said, oh, you can build relationships with the people in the dealer. Let's be honest. A lot of people don't really care about cars that are daily drivers. Meaning, if you gotta drive a car from point A to point B every day, and it's not like a weekend car like a Lamborghini, Ferrari, or Porsche, or McLaren, then most people don't care. It's used to get to point A to point B Some people like to have fun, but like 95 to 99% of people just want to get their destination as cheap as possible, as fast as possible, and most comfortable as possible with the most range and most efficiency. So most people will not care. So after you do that initial purchase, what relationship do they have with the dealer besides them always trying to call you, always trying to text you, trying to upsell you something? That's it. So the only way to justify having a dealer will be assume you sell a vehicle that's limited in numbers. For example, Bugatti, Pagani, limited Ferraris, limited Porsches, limited Lamborghinis, limited Mercedes. Then having a dealer relationship could be justifiable, but at the same time it's questionable because you can look at the Ford GT. Ford GT to try the same thing. So Tesla, on the other hand, you don't have to go through any of those things to purchase a daily driver. You just go on your website, make the initial purchase and order, and they come contact you when you come pick it up. In my case, they delivered it to me because of my credit score was really well. They can just do it that way. If they do it that way, it was even easier. Then why go through all the hassle? So the breakdown is like even manufacturers make a better car than Tesla in every way, shape, possible form. At the end, Tesla is still going to sell better because besides the reputation have, the ease of this when they first entered their personal space, their market, when they first introduced their vehicle. They let people know how easy it is to get a vehicle, get a car, and make it really friendly as possible. So for example, like people who try to market online, try to sell a good or service, the easier it is for them to get to the purchase option or the purchase button in payment, the faster it is and more likely it is they will be willing to buy that product because it shows the value, makes it really simple, streamlines the process. There's nothing in between. And you look at Tesla itself, the manufacturer, it's a tech company. They can say all they want, but at the end, they're still making automobiles. It still has a dominant presence compared to everyone else. But when you look at it, why can't Ford or let's say BMW, Mercedes do the same thing? For all these legacy automakers, it's very simple because all these contracts they have to sign. So you think about it, Ford makes the cars, they never thought about back then investing in the long term. Sadly, no one can really predict the future, but if someone could predict the future, then all these automobiles and manufacturers wouldn't have all these problems today. They never expect that people will be able to afford vehicles like today, mainstream line. They never expect they can pay like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, the list goes on, how much money they can pull out. They never expect a lot of Americans to be way more wealthy compared to like 1920, 1940. So what happened is the dealers back then, like Ford, Mercedes, and BMW, they signed contracts. Contracts are binding agreements. If it's signed and written, agreed on both upon parties, and brought into the state or the court, and it's finalized, they cannot break out those contracts really easily. So the executive of Ford actually made a statement. They tried to make it more difficult now for dealers to mark up their vehicles that they sell to customers for suggested MSRP or whatever they agreed upon. So right now, their goal for legacy automakers, if they want to compete in the future, or at least take a bigger market share, they have to break out these contracts. The contracts or dealers and middlemen are like providing a service, a good that's not really valuable for the customer. Is make it really difficult for the customer to buy their service or product. Like for example, my family used to buy Ford and Chevy. And that was back in like 1999, 1995. And now they never touch a Chevy or Ford product again, or any other car dealer besides BMW. But the reason why is it's very difficult to get a vehicle for a suggested asking price for MSRP without walking to your dealership and being upcharged. Tesla, on the other hand, when they first introduced their Model S back in 2013, when they order it, it's online. They never sign a contract. You just go in and order online, you can pick up. And the vehicle itself really speaks itself. It's pretty reliable because it's an electric car, even it has all these other, issues. Like you still have to change certain fluids, you still have to do this and that, but it's still cheaper than a gasoline car. It's still easier to purchase. It's still cheaper than the rest. So that is the main selling point that Tesla has over everyone else, is the ease of use of purchasing a vehicle. The initial response that they first give out is very positive for anyone trying to purchase a vehicle in today's day of age. So if other legacy manufacturers want to compete, then you guys have to basically slowly break away from contracts, because these contracts are binding for how many years, whatever they signed back then. Slowly break away from them and start, be more consumer friendly. Basically, instead of milking a consumer, make it easier for consumer to buy your product. And more consumers buy your product, If you make a good product, it will have better reputation. When you have a better reputation, you can end up like Tesla. A lot of people will buy your vehicles without even questioning it. All the other problems and issues that pop up. That's it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.